Yeah, but I want to keep it on the Hulk Hogan thing because, and as I said last week, a lot of people don't realize that Hulk Hogan was in the AWA when Rocky III happened.
Correct.
So what? Talk to us about the controversy surrounding Hulk Hogan not winning the championship, which led to him leaving the AWA because they wouldn't put the belt on him.
Yeah, Verne did not think that Hogan was ready to be the champion. This is kind of like what you see in a lot of territories, right? It's worked for Ric Flair for a long time. I'll use the Ric Flair example. So Flair was champion for a long time in the NWA, right? And then when he gave up the championship, he gave it up to like Dusty Rhodes. Now, everyone was like, oh, hope Dusty wins. And then Dusty wins the championship, and they're like, oh, Dusty wins the championship. So who does he chase now? He's the champion. You would think that you'd feel good about a guy. Like, after all those years, like, finally, Dusty wins the championship, right? And then the crowd was like, yeah, Dusty's the champion. Now what, right? So the same thing here in the AWA. The philosophy always was in some of these territories, let you have a heel champion so that way the babyface chases. Because that's always what you want to see, right? Like, I can't wait for my favorite wrestler to beat the heel wrestler. That's always been money for a lot of territories. That's why it's so unusual for the WWE for a long time to always have a babyface champion, because it's always been that way in the Northeast. A babyface champion, so that way the heel can chase the babyface champion. But unless
you are a heel factory, like early WWF was.
Right, exactly. But it was always the other way with territories like the AWA and the NWA, where you had a heel champion and the babyface has to chase for the championship. And so that he didn't think that Hogan should have the championship at that particular time. He thought it would be best if Hogan chases Bockwinkel for the championship. And after a while, Hogan was just like, okay, so I'm doing all these matches. We're going 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm still losing or winning by disqualification. When are you going to give me the championship? And like Verne would never say exactly when Hogan was going to win the championship. All these big houses, like sold out in St. Paul, in Minneapolis, Chicago, they went around the loop with it. And still, it was the same thing. People see all the same finish. And so Hogan's like, okay, well, Vince called me and I think I'm going to leave. That's what happened.
Hey, I get it. Because he obviously believed in himself. But, I mean, at the same time, it's like, does it become realistic for Hogan, like, in another year or two? Like, yo, I should be somebody's champ, fam. You gotta let me know something.
How do you not put the championship on him? Like, to Bang's point, you're filming Rocky III and he's still not good enough to be the champion?
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. That's madness.
Oh, I mean, that's control. That's control. Like, I know that you're making this movie, but you know what? We think that Nick is best as a champion because you can chase for him for the championship. Well, after a while, Vince Sr., as Hogan was starting to wind up his contract with the AWA, Vince Sr. was like, well, just come to New York. And Vince Jr. saw the appeal because he saw Hulk Hogan, but it was always only in a territory, right? It was just simmering. People knew about Hulk Hogan because he was already in the WWF before, as you remember. He already wrestled in the WWF, wrestled Andre at Chase Stadium. Yeah, so we've seen it. So he saw the appeal of Hogan, and they were like, you know what? We can put a rocket up of Hogan's backside, and we can do some business here. And so and there it is. And so I just remember, like, the controversy from Verne Gagne, trying to put a bounty, like, on Hogan's head, trying to figure out, like, if we can break Hogan's leg, then he won't wrestle for Vince.
Wait a minute, whoa.
Just give him the belt, Verne. What you tripping?
No, wait a minute. We got to rewind this bus here. We got to bring this bus back. Wait a minute, what? Wait a minute. I heard about the Hiro Matsuda stories about him breaking Hogan's leg. Hogan came back. He was like, okay, he must really be down for this wrestling shit.
Right.
But Verne Gagne put a bounty on Hogan's head This is not kayfabe. This is.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's a true story. I'm sorry. Also, yeah. So several people have told this story about Verne Gagne offering the Iron Sheik money to break Hogan's leg.
Irony.
Right.
Irony. Hey, yo, hey, Vince knew that shit. Vince definitely, he's like, you know what?
You gotta go.
I'm gonna use them to start Hulkamania. I'm gonna use them both to start Hulkamania.
That's a story. Yeah, absolutely. So obviously Verne was pretty pissed off that Hogan went up to New York, right?
Yeah.
Even though you had the golden goose in your hand, but he went to New York because Verne could not stand Vince Jr. in particular, right?
Yeah.
So Hogan signs with the WWF, and then because Iron Sheik knew Verne Gagne from the 60s, right? Iron Sheik learned under Verne how to wrestle as far as pro wrestling.
Because he was in the same class as Ric Flair.
Yeah, exactly.
They said, yeah.
And yeah, so there was a relationship between Verne and Iron Sheik going back to the 60s. And Verne called Iron Sheik. He's like, you know what? The son of a bitch. He went to the WWF. I know you're going to drop the title to him, but I want you to break his leg for me. Break his leg. That way he won't win the championship up there. Wow. And Iron Sheik told Vince, and Vince took care of Iron Sheik, financially, so that would never happen.
Goddamn.
Vince is the illest dude because not only does he do that, then he signed him. And get him to do the match again.
A $100,000 bounty on Hogan to break his leg.
Wow.
100 grand. I don't know if there was anybody in AWS making 100 grand.
Right.
I was just getting ready to ask. I was like, who contract was touching that?
And we talking about Jeezy and Gucci.
Right. You know what I'm saying? $10,000.
Right. So was Hogan leaving the AWA kind of like the first nail in the coffin for the organization?
Yeah, that was one of the first, and I can make the argument that even bigger than that was Bobby Heenan leaving.